if you just saw my last video about water Phoenicians, this seems to be very synchronistic to have come across this. But then again, as we've said, that's the only story there is. So it's going to keep repeating. And on the third day, Aqua Jesus emerged from his underwater tomb with tasty treats for everyone. Now, it's a parody, of course. They like to reverse things. So what you have to consider, first of all, is it's not talking about Jesus, first of all, okay? Something emerged from underwater, but it sure as hell wasn't anything positive like this is portraying it. It's not necessarily the reverse shit, just so you know, it's the twisting of shit. And right here they just mentioned left, right. I'm not going to play the music. Left, right, and then so that's, there you got the mentions of the duality. And then you got these mermaids, redheads, wearing red. So, now again, this is going to seem crazy to your average person, but the point is that that's how this reality works. That's how this dimension works. Is either these are like some type of spiritual entities that, in a way, possess people to do this type of stuff, or just the universe itself only has but so many functions for people to do. So it's like, would you like to, like a video game where it says, what would you like to do? Would you like to A, go for a walk, B, sit down on the couch? You know, and here it's like, would you like to A, live life, not thinking about God at all? B, go ahead and just be a hypocritical Christian. C, would you like to go ahead and sell out? D, E, F, there's plenty. I mean, there's probably unlimited choices, but there's still a limited, limited. And so these Phoenician mermaids then begin riding with this demonic bunny from under the ocean, from the Wiki Waki mermaids. Again, this all seems innocent enough, but there has lore and legend to do with Hawaii being a place of the gods, more specifically a type of demonic evil presence, more so than a happy place. I remember Jordan Maxwell giving a special talk about that, and if you look, you'll find some interesting things about it. I don't spend all my research about Hawaii until I can maybe get a chance of going there. I really don't give a fuck. But just like I said, this was very synchronistic with my last video, saying that there's something going on with this underwater explorers and UFOs. It's all connected. I don't know how. The pirates, it's connected to this. It's one big fucking story that I don't know all of the details about, because they don't want everyone to know all the details. But maybe they don't even know all the details. They're probably just as lost as we are, and they're trying to figure this shit out their own fucking selves. So here it goes. And like I said, the universe, it seems that it's not... it's probably a combination of both, because as I like to say, it's not just one thing or the other. It'd be way too easy. So it's probably a combination of demonic entities possessing people to do this, and they don't know. They're just thinking, oh, let's have fun and just do something silly underwater with this. But really what's going on is there something behind that thought process that they're perhaps unaware of. But in the vampiric sense, they have to be aware of it on some level, at least that beforehand it could have been like, this is dangerous, going underwater or something like that, something as simple as that. Or just you have a feeling, I shouldn't do this. I don't know why, but, you know, something like that. And trust me, your gut instinct is going to work a lot better than double guessing yourself. But, like I said, is it an interdimensional porthole that's open at the bottom of the sea? Check out some of my old videos, because this is probably going to be one of my last videos here for a while. So I got some other videos talking about the abyss, and knock plus 10. Don't know what the hell that is, but it's just some weird fucking video on the internet. And somehow that is connected to the fucking ocean too, when you look at the fucking cryptology of it. Some of the signs seem to, it signals a bell. It has a song in it, something about Helen had a steamboat, and the steamboat had a bell. And when the steamboat sunk, Sally went to hell or something like that. It's just a weird thing. And then it also gives coordinates for the middle of the fucking Mariana Trench. And there's shit with that. There's they recorded sounds in the Mariana Trench. Now, what that means, or not what it means, but what that ties into is, yes, these sounds that are being recorded on Saturn, the sounds that are coming from the meteorites or meteors that they found a little bit ago, sound, vibrations. Science is trying to tell us that, for example, that the 11 dimensions of superstring theory are essentially the superstring, which is the theory, the whole universe made up of long vibrations of string, or vibrational waves. They call it strings because that's their analogy, but it's essentially like a big ripple of a wave effect of sound and vibrating that. I mean, I'm sure people already know all this, cymatics type of stuff like that, related to all that. Don't know. This water UFO connection isn't touched on too much. There's been, some people that point out that UUOs, unidentified underwater or underground objects. But as far as the actual connection to the peoples of the ocean, the Earth peoples, like again the Phoenicians, okay, that there's a lot that, this is a very interesting history lesson, even if it's not, even if we're just a bunch of crazy people talking about this shit, it doesn't really matter. It's very interesting. You learn a lot about history, and you might have a weird spin on it that other people don't have, but you start researching one thing and I get interested in another, for example. But yeah, I think basically it's just some fucking interdimensional porthole, just like that. Boom. And out comes some fucking demon and doing his left-right pillar duality dance, infecting people with the idea that it has to be this way or that way. You're either left or you're right, Democrat, Republican, old or young, good or bad. Fuck it all. It's not that easy. It is a useful way of dealing with things. That's the way we're dealing with it right now. So that's the system that we have. And you can incorporate, like I've said about other things, there might be an original system, but that doesn't mean that the other systems have nothing to do with it. Like we're using HTML right now for this stuff, okay? The internet uses HTML, but it also, the HTML incorporates Java code and Flash code and CSS and probably a shitload of other shit, the point being that there can be systems within the systems. And there can even be newer systems within old computer systems. So think of like having a 1970s computer or power supply hooked up to a modern computer. You know, you'd be limited in some ways, but it'd still be there. Probably not making much sense because I'm trying to hurry. I gotta get going soon. And we already talked about these fucks. Somehow these are what's known throughout history as like the sellouts, the red-headed stepchilds, right? The which refers in the Bible to, I believe it's Esau, but it's also relating back to Cain and the firstborn, and why the firstborn is always throughout stories throughout the rest of the time has always been a weird relationship. Yes, firstborns traditionally are in line first for the throne, and yet there's always a lot of like evil connotation often associated with them, in the sense that they're normally the fuck-ups of the family versus the younger one, or you know, not all the time. This is just the way that you'll see it in the media and in television and in movies. Okay? This ain't about real life. This is what the story that they want you to understand is. And it's metaphors. See, because us here in fucking the West, people take shit very, very literally. And that's not the way it's meant to be taken. I mean, you read the Bible. Listen to what the disciples talk with Jesus about. They're like, hey, you know, why do you talk to the public in metaphors, but with us simply, or something like that, right? Meaning that they used metaphors. Nearly everything that fucking Jesus is saying in there is a metaphor. Okay, so if that's the case, what makes you think that the rest of the Bible is literal? And as I've said before, there are different levels of understanding to this, if you, according to Kabbalah, which is what the elites are into. So when you see a story like this, there's at least 4 levels of different meaning. You want to go through a couple of them real quick? You got the 1, that's just a fucking silly, look, there's bunnies and there's mermaids. You got 2, okay, which is always the sexual shit that Freud has brought out. So look, I mean, you got women in the back. I mean, yeah, it's a little reversal, but it doesn't really matter. You get the point. There's sexual shit. You got the eggs, which is symbolic of reproduction, right? I zoomed in earlier on the girl's tits, right? Mermaids, which are related to the sirens, you know, as far as they would lure sailors to their death. They'd be under the water and or on the rocks. And those guys out there, you know, they'd be on a ship for months or years at a time. Right? Then as we're going, we've also got the deeper spiritual fucking shit as we're going here. Whereas we got what's represented by the red-headed stepchilds, and notice they're both red, right? Red hairs, red mermaid tail. Whereas it's a more spiritual thing. I'm not exactly sure what the fuck it's all saying, except as earlier I said, like the evil pops out. And here we go. How that relates, I'm always looking for how it can be utilized. The information. How can I utilize this information? I don't know right now. You know, first I guess you got to understand what the information is saying. Then later worry about it. Sometimes I like to get ahead of myself. You also got to realize you don't want to be going fucking crazy. Right? And sit there and reading into it to the point where you're adding stuff that's not there. But then again, if you can find it and bring it out, then it's there. You know, like John Lennon used to say, I'm going to just paraphrase it, but he was mentioning how all these people would talk about his songs and say that, oh, it meant this or it meant that. And he said, yeah, I can understand, you know, it's not exactly how I wrote it. That's not the meaning that I gave it to. But after they say this, I can see what they're saying. And that's why I, John Lennon, don't like to give meanings or, you know, tell people what the meaning of the song is. That way everyone has their own interpretation. They can all bring something out of it. And I don't know if you've ever had that experience. I've had that experience all the time where you think a song or something is about one thing, and then you know, you find out in an interview or something it's about something totally different. You're like, oh shit, that's disappointing. Yeah, fuck. You know, I almost don't want to hear what the fucking writers and shit have to do with it anymore. You know, unless it's maybe something symbolic and they're talking about the symbolism of shit, like say Alejandro Jodorowsky talking about his Holy Mountain movie, or El Topo. Two fucking awesome movies. But I've gone on probably long enough rambling about nothing except pointing shit out. I just thought it was really neat, and as I called it, synchronistic. I was just like, oh, yeah, check it out. I've been cleaning the house. I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm moving. I'm not going to have internet or anything, I don't think, for a while, unless I can find a place that has Wi-Fi. So maybe I can work on something, you know, during the day or something. I have a cell phone, but I do not have service on it. I'm that poor. So I just have a cell phone, but I can use the camcorder, and then, like I said, if I get Wi-Fi, do what I got to do later, upload it. But as for now, this is going to be it for a while, probably. Most important thing that I just wanted people to realize, or to be have attention brought to this underwater phenomenon as well. I don't think I mentioned this in the other video, because I've been working. I was going to make a long video, or you know, write out this whole thing and make it nice, but I haven't had enough time to do that in the process of moving. But water is also connected to dimensions somehow. There's a lot of videos you can find on YouTube that point out how, or not point out, but there's stories that people have of either time traveling. They point out the Mario Brother movies use water and sewer systems, water pipes to travel dimensions. There's an interesting video on there about a guy that said that he time traveled by climbing under. There was a sink, and he was fixing his sink, leaky pipe or something, and he noticed it starting to that it got deeper in underneath, and he started to crawl in deeper, and he was like, oh, this is odd, and started to go deeper and deeper, and then somehow he said that he time traveled. I think that's the right. I might be mixing that up with someone, because there's another one that I think that's the one where the guy took a picture with his older self, supposedly, and they were both wearing the same watch or something. I don't know why the guy would be wearing the same watch fucking, 50 years later. Shit, I don't know. Point being, there's, some kind of water connection. So even if it's just crazy motherfuckers making the shit up, even in their own mind, their own subconscious, they want to go to this water connection. You see what I'm saying? There's something to it. I don't know what. I don't know how to use it. Again, I was trying to think about how can this be utilized. Otherwise, it's just nonsense. Wah, 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 like in fucking Charlie Brown, right? Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 and that's basically, I guess, what this video was taking. That's probably what people are fucking taking out of this video anyway. It's because this is for certain levels of people, for sure. Even amongst my own friends, some of them can't make it this far. You have this new age bullshit. Man, I should like be looking around through other shit. Yeah, let's go ahead. Look, I'll show you what other shit I watch here. You got this new age bullshit where these people, look at this, Joey Diaz. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. This is some motherfucking funny ass guy right here. If you ever thought he's talking about transgenders and coffee and women's heart attacks, he's a funny motherfucker. And this is how we deal with our problems. We don't need to be violent. So when you hear a lot of these people also, oh, I want to do this or that to the NWO, the New World Order, and oh, I'd like to do this to that person. Just take it easy. We're stronger than them, so you don't have to worry about it. Why do you think they keep shit such a secret? It's because, it's not. It's something that everyone can have, and if they know about it, I mean, come on now. Now, part of it is also, hey, there's a brotherhood type shit going on where very much like family. And what more needs to be said about it? But, fuck, what was I going to say? I fucked it up by looking at all that other shit. Doesn't matter. Because I don't have time to edit this video, to edit it out and shit like that. It takes like a fucking half hour to do all that shit and then to render the video afterwards. And I fucked up, I guess, by doing that, but that's alright. Look, I guess it don't fucking matter. Just there's shit everywhere. There's occult shit everywhere. This Pandora, what the fuck? We'll look up Pandora. You're only gonna find like Pandora's box as a reference. Okay, evil, right? Opening up the box of fucking all the evil shit in humanity. Supposedly at the bottom there's hope. Kind of interesting. Is hope evil then, or hope only exists in evil? Anyway, that's getting to the point is, look at the occult shit all over the fucking place. Over here, teams, occult, fucking, remember we were talking about pirates and shit. I don't fucking know. For me, it's kind of fun. This actually adds a different layer to the story. Like I said, you can have the kid story. I realized one time when I was growing up that we have the kid stories, okay? Like, there was a movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Speaking of all this rabbit bunny business. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? And as a kid, I just enjoyed it as kind of, cartoon characters. As I got a little bit older and watched it after not having seen it for like 5 years or more, I noticed deeper parts of the movie. There's a plot, a conspiracy to steal Toontown, right? Which I didn't really understand the whole gist of when I was fucking like 3 or 4 or something. It took me a while to understand all that shit. And then you can also, if you get a little bit older, you might notice some sexual innuendo here and there in movies. Right? There's 3 levels. Then, as you get crazy, which I'm just meaning abnormal, and you don't want to be normal if normal is what's out there right now. Fuck that shit. You seen what normal is? Basically fucking idiot moron. I mean, do you really want to be an idiot fucking fuckhead moron? Maybe. Ignorance is bliss sometimes. Sure feels that way. But then once you go crazy enough, you end up looking at this shit, the spiritual side of shit. Again, most people are just going to look at this and say, oh, it's just a parody. It's just a joke. It was just these mermaids. And we're trying to think about how to Easter up the holiday. You know, because I've actually had friends. I follow one of these girls. To be honest, I forget her name because I haven't seen her on there for a while. I have other friends that want to do this, and I follow that one girl. Shit, I can't remember. I think it's something to do with fire, though. Something with the fire and mermaid. Again, with the redhead shit, right? But it has to do with I don't know. The point is yeah, I've been watching these mermaid shit for a while, so it's not like I'm totally new to this either. Again, this is all synchronistic for me. For me, this is my reality, my truth. If you watched my last video, or some video, maybe it was just a comment, quantum physics is based on the observer. So this is my reality. This is not necessarily your reality. And me and someone else might share this reality. It's more of a dimensional thing, or like levels of a house. I remember when I was a kid, I wrote this fucking paper somewhere, and I explained dimensions as rooms in a house. And you can be in one or the other, but you know it's hard to be in two at the same time. And that was an interesting little paper because I don't know what the fuck made me write that shit. But point is, yeah, it's like that, or like levels of a house or something like that. So some of your friends might not all be in the same thing. But then again, every once in a while, everyone goes. You know, if you're at a house party, for example, everyone occasionally makes their way into the living room area, right? Normal reality. And then people break off and do their own things. Some people are upstairs screwing on the beds. Some people are outside, right? Just trying to find the fucking free food. Where's the fucking hot dogs and fucking hamburgers that were supposed to be here? Other people are looking for the fucking beer. You know? Other people are looking for other kinds of enjoyments. Other people are just hanging out in the fucking living room. There's other people in fucking other rooms doing other shit, just watching TV. And not even realizing there's a whole fucking house of people. You get what I'm saying? And yet, everyone will be in that living room and share the same reality at one point or another, and probably see most of one another at one point in time. So, yeah, let's get to this. There's no oath that I'm breaking by this. Scientology. As far as I understand Scientology, you can make your own reality. Now, this is a secret of Scientology that they're not going to tell you. Because again, this is my interpretation of it. I've never entered into it or anything like that, so I don't know the official view on it, although I've talked to many Scientologists. But they're not going to agree with this, with what I say. But my view is what L. Ron Hubbard was doing was coming up with techniques or technology, as he called it, of basically, I hate to say this because it sounds, there's a negative connotation to it, but basically self-hypnotizing yourself or auto-hypnosis into creating your own reality. Because as we've discussed, and as you can turn on a History Channel or Science Channel and they'll discuss quantum reality, quantum physics is based on the observer. You know, they like to show that experiment with the laser, how it splits into two, and the whole point of that fucking thing is that it only starts acting weird when people watch it, and it acts different when people don't watch it. Point being, the observer is having something to do with it. The observer is in effect not creating reality, but influencing reality, and that's what I've learned from all this. See, you're getting some of. Luckily, I pushed through. You're getting some of the more hardcore shit right here. Not everyone. You don't create reality. You influence reality. So other people can also influence yours. And the only reason it makes me say this is because where the fuck would evil come from, or harm? All right, a baby is born And what if we create our own reality, what would it cause a child to all of a sudden be harmed? Because terrible things happen in the world, and you've probably heard of some terrible stories. And the only reason I'm using babies is because they don't have, you might, later on, if you're, 30 or 40 or something like that, you might have some kind of weird thinking process where, a self-destructive mode comes in. But as a child, does that really enter it? I can't say for sure, but I would doubt it. And that's why I tend to lean on that we don't actually create our entire reality, but we do influence it. And we can influence it enough to, in effect, create our own, but not really. Let's get back to what I was saying with L. Ron Hubbard. Scientology allows you to create your own reality. The thing is, though, the religion itself, the organized religion, as where you go in and you meet all these people and buy their books and do what they tell you, as opposed to just sitting there and reading it or listening to, and that's hard to get, is you have to download it illegally, listening to L. Ron Hubbard's talks. And it's going to sound crazy. You got to get the Philadelphia doctorate. And that's probably his most in-depth and most useful of all of them. I don't want to say that all the rest are based on that, because they did make some improvements or some additions, but really that's where most of Scientology is in that. The Philadelphia doctorate, or it's the PDC, Philadelphia doctorate course. If you were to buy it from it's called the Bridge Publications, that's the official Scientology publication center, they would charge you something like $1,500 for, it is a bunch of CDs, several hours, something like 20 or 30 hours, but damn, $1,500, and that's not all of it. Shit, that ain't all of Scientology. That's only like one disc and like 1,000 different things. And so, but the point is, yeah, you can create your own reality with that. A lot of the techniques and stuff like that is, brain conditioning or brain reinforcement to undergo the later stuff. Basically, you have to learn to walk before you can run. Maybe. What else? Because that's basically it as far as L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology. I mean, if you want to look up the other stuff with Jack Parsons and NASA and all that shit, go look it up. Yeah, we get that feeling like, I don't know what the fuck I'm missing. I forgot to say something. Or there's something like on the tip of my tongue that I just can't spit out. I don't know what it is. I'm sure as soon as I, am actually gone here and don't have access to the internet anymore, that's when it'll all start coming back to me. Even better than this, because this is horrible. Should have been able to get this out in about 5, maybe 10 minutes. But look at this, 35 minutes. Okay, well, that's it, I guess. Last little bit of advice is when they don't fucking listen to these people that tell you it's this group or that group. Don't listen to any fucking buddy. Do your own fucking research. This person commented on one of my videos and was like, "Oh, you know," I couldn't tell exactly which way they were trying to go with it, as far as trying to insult me or trying to just agree, essentially, that yeah, there's a lot of nonsense out there. And I tend to think it was the first, though. I think he kept trying to insult me, and I kept trying to spin it positively, though. He was basically trying to say, because the title of the video was, "What's Going On?" And he was like, these people that say, you know, you have all the answers, don't listen to them. And I agree. You know, again, it was called "What's Going On," but it delved into questions. You know, and again, fuck, I expect you fuckers to research this shit. If you know, I mean, I know I'm not on a level of Alex Jones where people would just go re-quote his shit, right? But even he continues to say, research this shit on your own. You know, that's why he shows you the documents or provides links, right? I'm not providing links to all this Phoenician this, Phoenician that, because quite frankly, it's taken a lot of time. And that's why people like Alex Jones, after a while, get on that kind of shit, is because they know that, you know. So that's why, as he prints out fucking like 1,000 pages every day, is because he wants to have all. Where in the past, this kind of shit's probably what he had to deal with, is saying, "Oh, there's Phoenicians," and they're like, "Oh, what the fuck are Phoenicians?" And then, you know, you got to go through everything again. So now, you know, he can just say, "Oh, look, we already covered this," right? And I could say, other people have already covered this. But him as a reporter, he wants to have the first bite at it, so that's cool. And again, this ain't about ego for me. I don't give a shit. There's other people that do a much better job than I do. I have a little bit of different view on some of this, but like I said, I haven't seen really much people talk about underwater Phoenician connection. You hear about it a little bit. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to make it, probably, the connection. But if you really want to check out some shit, there's a book called The Case for the UFO by M.K. Jessup. And you're going to want to get what's called the Varro edition, V-A-R-O. That is along the lines of the Montauk Project, where it is interesting. Okay, what The Case for the UFO was just a book. The Varro edition was the military was mailed like 2 or 3 of those books with all kinds of notes written inside of them. Someone read through it and they made annotations, little interesting notes. And apparently 3 different people read this and used it as 3 different people used it as a type of. It seems like they passed the book back and forth, trading notes and rereading it and stuff like that. Point being, because even if that's, I just had to give that a little bit of background on what the book is, and then you'll find a lot of those notes to be very interesting. But even if it's not real, similar to the Montauk Project, there's no way to prove it. It's a little out there, and it could just be made up by people that want to cash in on the whole conspiracy movement. There is a lot of nuts out there, let's say it that way. You go to these UFO conventions or something like that, a lot of crazy people that could easily be taken advantage of. I don't ever want to do that. And that's why I do some of this the way I do it. It's just to make sure that it's shitty and stays shitty. You know, I ain't got time to make, you know, a video to try to get 1 million views. I understand that I might try to work with the title to get some views a little bit, but I try not to mislead. And like, I mean, yeah, again, you might exploit it a little bit, you know, New World Order instead of, you know, just the whatever I want to call them, which is like an unknown, I don't know. So I just put New World Order or Illuminati instead, even though I hate that, because the real meaning of Illuminati is just enlightened person, okay? So basically, when you're saying the Illuminati, you're just saying the smart people, okay? So do you see how ridiculous that sounds? Yes, there was a group that called themselves the Illuminati, and if you're talking about that group, that's one thing. But people tend to just use the Illuminati to mean, you know, this elite power structure that tends to be after Agenda 21, New World Order type stuff. When in reality, there's several groups that are not related to any ones that people have heard of, for the most part. Nothing to do with any numbers 322, no Skull and Bones, none of the other secret societies. If you've heard about it, it's probably not it. All right? Or at least if the mainstream has heard about it, that's probably not the answer. Okay, so if they're doing specials on the inside of a lodge of a certain, you know, secret society, yeah, in a way they're letting themselves be known. But that's just to get membership up, to be honest. And that has nothing to do with, you know, now's the time of revelation. No. They're just trying to get their fucking membership back up, because that's how it goes. Why won't it focus on you? Anyway, I'll just let it go on this. Okay? Try to